Alright, before I get started here, be sure to enter this giveaway by checking out the video in the picture and to subscribe and comment your Mcoc New Year's resolution. But remember, every 1,000 subs gained in January equals one Dazzler Pass giveaway February 1st, because y'all crushed the initial one, so like this is a bonus one, and my current sub count is 15.5k, so yeah, already off to a great start for y'all for it being like the second day of January. But now we got an important video here. We have my first rank 3 of 2025. And it's a champion that I feel like is back. He is finally back, and he's been gone for so long. Now, why am I saying that he's been gone, right? Like, what exactly happened? And here's what happened. In Battlegrounds, which is an important game mode for some people, but, you know, for me, it used to be like all I cared about, right? That's not really it anymore. I don't care about Battlegrounds that much. I mainly just care about content creation. But, I used to be a Battlegrounds, like, gremlin. Not even gremlin, like, a troll under the bridge that played Battlegrounds. And I would, like, only care about characters that would be good for Battlegrounds. And Guardian had this, like, period where he wasn't good for, like, 5 meta straight. He was just terrible and borderline unusable for, like, all of them. And, you know, conspiracy theorists would be like, this all started after Jax gave us free Guardian, which honestly is true. It did start like literally right after that, but it wasn't for that reason, obviously. But yeah, rank 3 Guardian, I feel like it is appropriate to do now. Well, okay, appropriate isn't the right word, right? It's not like inappropriate to rank Guardian, but it just feels right to do now since he's been like kind of crushing it in Battlegrounds recently. And it looks like he's going to be pretty good for the next one too. So yeah, they finally decided to just let him actually be decent in that game mode. But like I said before, I'm not really like super focused on that game mode these days. It is nice to have a champion that does work in that game mode though. So like having Guardian ranked up, I feel like was bound to happen. But then again, Guardian's just a very strong champion. You know, he is like very obviously beyond god tier with his damage output, his ease of use, his tankiness. Like he just has so many like quirks that make him so powerful. And I don't mind him being my first rank 3 of 2025 because he's just very nice, right? You know, he's a very nice guy. Like literally in the victory animation, he picks you up, gives you a pat on the back. It's very nice. But now we have this Heimdall fight, which isn't nice. I actually do not enjoy this fight in the slightest because Heimdall is just very heavy attack happy, and he will just drop that all the time. And it's very frustrating, but you know what, it's okay because he isn't really a challenge for Guardian for like any champion really, but Guardian I feel like does it especially well. And by that I mean the SP2 does a really funny number after you drop it with the assault battery node. It's pretty sweet. But yeah, here he drops the SP1, and then he's going to drop the SP1 one more time, and then it's our turn to start doing some special attacks. So yeah, here he auto blocks, very fun. That's Heimdall for you. But there we get the brace node gone. So then we drop the SP2, and it does like 1.3 million damage. Yeah, that's why like Guardian's a good champion, right? That's insane to just like do that level of special attack. I know the damage is doubled because of assault battery, but that's still a very powerful SP2 that'll like one-shot any champion in the game with class disadvantage, by the way. So yeah, it's very, very strong. His SP2 is one of the silliest things in this game. And yeah, now we have this old man Logan on this one like tech lane. It's a confusing one. It has like the node where like you have to do a heavy attack bait, and that's really it. But as you can see right there, we were able to block his unblockable special attack. Now why is that? It's because Guardian can block any mutant unblockable special attack so long as he has one of his force field charges, which is honestly very cool and pretty helpful for some scenarios for sure. But Yeah, for the most part, he doesn't really care about that since he has like one of the best block efficiencies in the game, and like even if you do get hit, you will like pretty much take no damage. So yeah, Guardian just crushes mutant fights, man. He is so good for so many mutant champions. There is one thing to note though, which does set him back a little bit, and it's the fact that he is a shock DPS. Now, why is that important? Well, it's important because Nimrod is also a shock DPS. So whenever Nimrod tries to get, like, stopped, then Guardian has to take some of that damage too, because they pretty much have the same DPS. They might have different playstyles, but they have the same source of damage, which is shock in this case. So yeah, it does kind of suck that he is like he is affected by like what Nimrod has done to the game, and by that I mean like just ruining the game for mutant characters. So yeah, whenever they bring like a shock immune mutant character like Dust or Onslaught, Guardian kind of takes that damage as well, but he's still good for a lot of other mutant characters, for example like Mr. Sinister, and the one mutant fight that is just his moneymaker, but we'll get to that in just a second. Now we have this vision fight here. This is a great showcase of his taunt mechanic. His taunt is very good. It's just like on the SP1. It's easy to access. It's part of his main loop as well. So yeah, it's just like very cool. Thank you, Guardian, for that SP1 taunt, because it's very helpful, especially when the AI just does not want to drop a special attack. So there, he drops the SP2, which is fine, and yeah, now we have the taunt up, so remember that. So I can just go in, drop the SP1 myself, and then he'll just drop the SP2 like instantly, which is really, really nice, despite this having Surging Vengeance, where he should be dropping the SP3 next, but taunt kind of just ruins that. So yeah, very, very awesome stuff. We dropped the SP2, and that was after 2 SP1s, by the way. We like kind of just one-shot him after 2 single SP1s, and this is a gauntlet health pool fight. So yeah, very, very crazy stuff, man. Like actually wild. But now we have this Weapon X fight, and this could have been a whole lot faster, but I did the thing that you should never do with Guardian, and that's doubt him, because I was like, okay, is this SP2 gonna finish him off, or do I have to go for like an extra charge? I really didn't know what to do in this fight, and yeah, I just doubted his damage output, and that usually just like doesn't pay off well, because his damage output, you gotta remember, it's like one of the best in the game for like any type of scenario, right? He can do short fights incredibly quickly. He can do medium fights like honestly perfectly with how his loop is, and longer fights you can pretty much take like any health pool in the longer fights, because he can just simply build up his charges with the SP3 and then just like drop the most heinous SP2 you will ever see. It's crazy stuff, man. It is crazy stuff, and that's why this champion is so good, because he works for literally any health pool. Like any health pool he will just destroy, because that's how his damage works. Like same reason why Shang-Chi is so good in like any type of fight, but I think Guardian like takes a nod over Shang-Chi, because Guardian's damage output is DOT, so it bypasses any damage cap. And while I was talking, I just one-shot that Weapon X. Oh my gosh, that is like actually absurd. Okay, now we have this Bullseye fight, and this is one of Bullseye's moneymakers for sure. It is like one of his best matchups, because he can just like perfect block Bullseye's SP1, and the rest you just don't take too much damage because of Guardian's awakened ability. So yeah, what like his awakened ability does is it gives him like extra armor rating, it gives him extra block efficiency, crit damage resistance, and also bleed resistance. So that counts for just like any bleed effect in the game, including Bullseye's dagger bleeds on like his basic hits and his SP1. So yeah, very, very good for that reason, especially good against Bullseye right here. And he only lost like 6% health, and he ended the fight in like 40 seconds, which is really, really impressive for a tech champion taking Bullseye. So yeah, man, Guardian, he's so good. Like he is just like actually so good. And there we have Killmonger, and Killmonger is also a very good Guardian fight. just because like Guardian can just burst him down very easily, and like Killmonger's tankiness just isn't really a factor for Guardian, since Guardian's damage output just isn't really from physical hits, which Killmonger is just super tanky with. And yeah, these fights are like mimicking Battlegrounds health pools, right? And this should show you just how good he is in that game mode when the nodes work for him. And like, it's been confirmed that yeah, the nodes will work for him like next season. So this is like what you will get next season, because it's Safeguard, right? And Safeguard, Guardian is like one of the best counters for Safeguard, if not just like the best counter, since none of his hits will hit the damage cap pretty much, since his crits are like shock burst damage, which bypass Safeguard, and his shock DOT is like his biggest source of damage output. So he's gonna be so good for the next season, and I'm honestly very excited for it, because this man just takes so many fights. He also takes Mr. Sinister very well, who is very, very annoying. And yeah, he just like absolutely violates Mr. Sinister. Like, despite Mr. Sinister like having some counters against him, for example, Guardian cannot like do anything against that concussion, so it does stop him a little bit. However, Guardian just doesn't care, and he will one-shot him anyway, because look at this damage output. And yeah, that's just like how silly this champion is, man. But now we have the moneymaker. This is where Guardian is like most known, I guess, because against Domino, he is just like comically fast. But not only that, even if she does fail you, because, you know, Guardian, funny enough, despite looking like a Domino counter, just wasn't really made for Domino, since he can fail his stuff. Like, any of his stuff can fail. Right here, we don't gain one charge, which does hurt us, but look at that crit fail damage. That was like pennies, bro. That tickled us, literally. Like, that did nothing to Guardian, because he is just one of the most tankiest champions in this game because of that massive energy resistance that he gets whenever he is awakened. And yeah, dropped the SP2. We took like 0 damage there, and it was like a 30-something second fight. Genuinely crazy stuff. But now we have this. So people have been saying that Sentinel is going to be kind of a threat on defense with his buff, and Guardian just sends him to Fraud Watch, bro. He sends him packing. It is honestly like the craziest violation ever, because look at Guardian here. Perfect blocks his SP1, so he gets a lot of power from that. And then we have quite possibly the biggest violation of all time. Look at this sequence right here. We're gonna perfect block the SP1, get a lot of power from that. We're pretty much a combo away from the SP2, so here I drop it, no relic or anything, and he just gets one shot past his final phase that people were saying was gonna be really tough. Guardian just sent that man like to irrelevancy so fast. And I love Sentinel, but guys, he's not a defender. That was just like, that was sad, man. Sentinel, great attacker, really fun to use on attack, but do not let Guardian go up against him, because he will just like end his dreams, because that was just crazy. But yeah, Guardian, really times like 100 strong champion. He is a very, very good character. I am glad that he's my first rank 3 of 2025, because he feels like he is back. He feels like he is a beyond god tier champion that is returning from his slumber, and he's just gonna crush everything. So I am hyped, man. He is so dang good. So let me know your thoughts on Guardian. Be sure to enter that giveaway by checking out the other video, and yeah, that's about it for me.